It into Bynum. Back out Bryant. Shot clock at 7. Bryant leads, falling away. Puts it in! And the Lakers take a 1-point lead with 7.3 remaining. What a clutch shot once again from Kobe Bryant.
Alright, hey guys, what's going on? Just finished up the Bucks and Heat game. Probably didn't need to watch the second half, but I did anyways. It was decently entertaining. I mean, you know, it's a game that's going out of hand when the best highlight is Giannis basically kicking the basketball like a soccer ball. I don't know why that was hard for me to get out. But a super impressive win by the Bucks. This game was basically over after it felt like the first quarter. A lot of momentum was just on the Bucks side. They were hitting everything. Bryn Forbes came out and hit like 5 threes immediately, basically. Super impressive by the Bucks. Pat Connaughton hit a couple threes. They ended with a franchise record in three-pointers made. Just super all-out, basically clinic by the Bucks, defensively and offensively. They couldn't miss, and the Heat could not score. But yeah, so shout out to Bryn Forbes for being fantastic. The Bucks have made a lot of additions during this offseason and during the season that really put this team over the top that I didn't really give them enough recognition for, at least. I've noticed it, obviously, in the playoffs as they look like an entirely different team from last year. This Miami Heat team is, I would say, relatively similar. They're missing a couple key pieces in Jay Crowder, and then I think Kelly Olynyk would have really helped in this series as well, obviously playing in MVP form in Houston. But super impressive win by the Bucks. The Heat look like kind of a shell of what they were last year. Tyler Hero hasn't been able to get it going. Jimmy Butler hasn't been able to get it going. I would say Dragic is the only real consistent thing, and even then he has not looked to control the pace of the game like he did last year. Now, some things I think the Heat could potentially change in this series. I don't really know what they can do offensively, but I think defensively is what they need to fix first, and I would want to see some minutes from Precious guarding Giannis. I wish they experimented that a little bit in the second half. Whether it's Bam on Giannis or Precious on Giannis, just have both of them in the game and allow one of them to guard Brook Lopez and the other Giannis. Last year you saw a little bit of Bam guarding Giannis, and that turned out to be pretty effective. It was mainly Jay Crowder, but when Bam guarded him, it was a similar effect. So I would want to see either the Heat slide in, maybe Bjelica would add some spacing if he was able to guard Brook Lopez. I know he's not necessarily a great defender, and you lose a lot of switchability there. But if the Heat can find a big to cover Brook Lopez and then have Bam guard Giannis or Precious guard Giannis, I think that could make it more challenging. I don't know if that necessarily gets them over the hump like they need to be, because it's not like Giannis is scoring all of their points. He's been incredible in the paint, and his presence rebounding the ball has been fantastic. But the Heat really need to figure out that issue, because Giannis is basically getting whatever he wants, and when he's not getting whatever he wants, that means his teammates are, because he's being doubled, because no one individual is able to guard Giannis you can obviously never really guard him, but guard him well. I would say Bam's the only player on that team that really has proven that he can do that, and I think Precious has the tools too. So I'd like to see them together in a lineup, or at least one of them guard Giannis here and there. But it was great to see the Bucks take over from 3 after a very tough shooting game 1. They went 5 of 31 from 3 in the first game. Tonight, as I said earlier, franchise record in threes made. Pretty crazy. That first game, they lost the 3-point battle by 45 points. Tonight, they definitely won. Bryn Forbes was a catalyst. They picked him up during the offseason. He had like 5 threes immediately. It was pretty crazy. But I did not appreciate this. This is one thing that I will say I did not like about the Heat's game tonight. Dragic had a pretty bad foul where he wrapped up Middleton's ankle, kind of. Ariza had a foul where he basically tackled Giannis when they're down 20-something, and then pushed up off of him while Giannis was on the ground. Then Bjelica hit Giannis in the face on a foul. It's a 30-point game. I understand you're still trying to have a physical edge, maybe mentally stay ahead of them, but that's not really the way to do it. They did need to do that, though, because Milwaukee this year, shockingly, last year they were way out physical, I guess, by Miami, but this year Milwaukee has proved to be the far more physical team, the stronger team. Their offensive rebounding shows that. Their general just toughness as a squad has improved a lot, and that comes from additions like PJ Tucker, like Bobby Portis, those guys. And even then, their defensive switchability is something that has really, really impressed me. A lot of their guys are incredible, just defenders, really, and that's interior and on the perimeter. Jrue Holiday is one of the premier guard defenders, but he's also incredibly strong, so he's able to get in the post if need be. PJ Tucker, obviously, is another addition they made. He's a great post and perimeter defender once again. He's taken some minutes on Jimmy Butler. And then another thing that I really, really like this year is Giannis has actually guarded Jimmy Butler. Last year, Giannis was not guarding Jimmy Butler, and that's part of the reason why Jimmy was able to get off so easy on some of these layups he had last year to get going in games. But Giannis guarding Jimmy has added an entirely different dynamic to this series. It's really been incredible to watch Giannis defensively this year, as well as the rest of this Bucks team. They look like the better team for sure, and I would be shocked if they lose this series, especially after being up 2-0 and winning the way they did tonight. Miami Heat are definitely not a team that's going to be like killed by this loss, though. They're definitely going to bounce back. Eric Spoelstra never really will just fall down like that and try not to get back up. I think this Miami Heat team could still steal a couple games and even push this to a Game 7. I would not be surprised, but I do think the Bucks will end up winning. Just some differences that I've seen in this year and last year, and how Miami can potentially, I guess, remedy all of this. I know I've already talked about Precious being out there, just even Bam guarding Giannis. But last year, Bam and Crowder guarded Giannis, and that made it incredibly hard for him. And when he was getting the basket, he was getting fouled. Free throws have been incredibly hard for him to make. Even in this series and last year, they were just as hard. Last year, a criticism of the Bucks head coach, Mike Budenholzer, he was really scared to play guys big minutes. This year, that has not been the case. Obviously, tonight, they didn't play quite as big minutes because it was a blowout. Another difference, this is an underrated difference, but this is something that me being a viewer, I've really enjoyed. Home court's back. Really enjoyed the Bucks fans. I think even tonight, the momentum just was never able to be shifted because the Bucks fans were so in the game and so adamant about everything that was going on, even though it was a blowout. It really just kept Milwaukee, like, they had momentum the whole time, despite like these little mini runs by the Heat. Obviously, last year, Jimmy Butler was guarding Chris Middleton. This year, he is guarding Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday is an incredible scorer, incredible defender. He's another guy they added who I really, really love. Obviously, me being a Pels fan, I already knew he was going to be this good. But I'm really excited to see him do well. And then even on that last play of that first game, you see Chris Middleton hit the game winner. He's being guarded by Duncan Robinson. So you know he's getting the ball, but if Jrue Holiday is getting guarded by Duncan Robinson, you know he's getting the ball. So basically this dynamic that the Bucks offense has is like essentially unguardable. You've got three guys that can basically score at will, all in different ways. I mean, Chris Middleton's an incredible shooter. Jrue Holiday's incredible at driving, as well as he's got a good shot. And then Giannis, obviously, is Giannis. He can get to the rim on just about anyone. I've really liked PJ Tucker and Bobby Portis off the bench. Their physicality, switchability, I've mentioned all that. The offensive rebounding in this series has been heavily one-sided to the Bucks, even in that game one that was a lot closer. Last year, Eric Bledsoe was a Milwaukee Buck, and he only played 4 games in this playoff series against the Heat. They had a major lack of composure, and they just didn't really ever have like a guy that can slow the game down. This year, I think Jrue Holiday as well as Chris Middleton have done an incredible job of doing that. And I think last year, Dragic and Jimmy Butler kind of controlled the pace. But, you know, I will say this year, the thing that I really think killed the Heat in this series isn't something that happened in this series necessarily. It was honestly the trade of Kelly Olynyk. And I never thought that a trade involving Victor Oladipo and Kelly Olynyk, I would be calling it the Kelly Olynyk trade, but it honestly was. Kelly Olynyk has been playing incredibly well for the Rockets. He showed that he can really, really stretch the floor, which is something that the Heat really need right now. And he's also an incredibly physical and big player, which is once again another thing the Heat need right now. I think that a pairing of he and Bam would have been incredible in this series, especially because then Bam can guard Giannis. So that trade really hurts. I'm really sorry that Victor Oladipo had to get hurt for all those Heat fans. But this series is definitely not out of reach for the Heat. Giannis still has those free throw issues, but they've definitely got some retooling to do defensively especially. But that's it for me, so thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you have a good one. Let me know what you all think about this series. I definitely think the Bucks, I mean, obviously they have the upper hand being up 2-0, but I would want them to win the series, and I think that they will win this series. But with all that being said, thanks so much for watching, and peace.